Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. Today we are going to make something simple. It is a soap dish. We're going to be using two of the colors that I had mentioned in my last video that I said I wanted to do a piece with because I think they'll look kind of cool together. Is the Beige by Eye Candy and I'm going to say the Sakura Pink, which is a really pretty, it's a very pretty color. If you're into soft pastel-y colors, so this may or may not help you a little bit, but that's right there sort of what we're working with. And here I have them all mixed up. The only thing I need to add is some glitter. We'll do that together. But this is what I've got. I didn't put a lot of paste in, but I put enough because I wanted it to be a nice color. So we've got that. And then we've got our beige over here. All right, so that's what our beige looks like. I am putting some glitter in both colors. Beige is a hard, obviously, to me, is obviously a hard color to find that goes with it. But I did find some glitter that I liked. For the pink, we're going to use this Pure Sheen by Nuvo. And I don't know that this has, oh, this is, Glitter Pink Diva. That's what the color is. I'm going, there's got to be a color on here somewhere. How do they not have a color for that? So that's where we're going to put in the pink. I thought it might be nice. I don't know how well we're going to see the glitter in this. And I might put more in than I need to, but I thought it would be nice to have some glitter in it. And it's interesting how they put that, what I'll call a green, in with their colors. And I'm not sure why they do that. But anyway. And I thought it would be easier, obviously. Again, I don't think you need to see me mix up resin anymore. If you're new, I can appreciate that. It's, yeah. I like to keep my videos, I'm working on getting them not so long. And I know some people appreciate the long videos and they don't mind watching them, which is great. And sometimes it is unavoidable. I can't get past, a video not being long. But I do want to attempt to keep them within reason. That might be enough of that glitter. Now, my resin is warming up. And it usually happens when you're working with more than one color. And I'm not really sure how people do it. I've attempted to do multiple colors, like more than two. And sometimes it gets very challenging to try and get everything mixed up in a timely manner so your resin doesn't start warming up. And the good thing with that is it's going to suspend my glitter then. My glitter isn't going to end up in one specific spot. Now we are going to do this a little differently. We will be using the heating mat, but I also have one of my paint pour tools that we're going to use so that we can hopefully get a nice design with this piece. And I'll show you that in a moment. We'll get what I'm sort of considering not really. So this is what I'm going to be using in my beige. It is a very soft sort of goldish silver. Again, it was something, I mean, if someone knows where you can, I guess I could look up beige glitter and see what I could find. And it's not really beige, but, and then I had thought of going with a really, I was going to do orange. I have a really pretty sort of orange Halloween type glitter. It's not a Martha Stewart, it's a generic one. And I went, but then I saw this and I thought, well, this might be better. I don't know how well this is going to stay within reason. See, my scoop doesn't, but you know what, I don't like using those. So I'll have to tap this in very carefully, won't we? All right. That should be enough of that, I think. I might put some more in the pink. And that is I don't even know where I got that. It doesn't have a label on it of any sort. Yeah, it's hard to say. I've had some of this stuff for so long that I truly don't know where I got it anymore. So when I'm filling out my descriptions and saying where I'm getting things, I appreciate when there's labels on them so I know for sure. But when there's not, yeah, it's a hit and miss for me. But I always do my best to give you what I know. Okay? Yeah. So that glitter is sort of showing up okay. I wonder if a finer glitter might have been a better idea. I mean, you might be able to see it in there. So we'll have to see how it comes out at the end of the day. And this, I think I'm going to put just a little bit more glitter in this one. Again, it's a paste, so I need to take that into consideration, that we're not going to get like the real defined glitter because of the fact that it is a paste that we're putting it into. So I guess at the end of the day, if when the piece is done, we've got it's somewhat glittered, then that's cool, like that you can see it. So we'll just clean that up and we'll stir it a couple of more times, and then we need to get pouring this. So yeah, I decided to pull out my heat mat for another piece. And then, yeah, have a video up. Second video this week. Look at me go. Again, I think the heat mat will help me out with getting, you know, the 2 videos. I do my best for you to get 2 videos up a week, and I hope you can appreciate that. Yeah, that's not always possible. All right, so let's get that off to the side. What am I going to be using? Alrighty, let's put these over here. Get my glasses adjusted, flip this over, and we're going to be using one of these. Okay, I just feel I want to sort of hopefully get a nice design in this, and I figured the way to do that would be by using one of these tools. Because it's on the heat mat, I can't bring over my turnstile to do this, and therefore I thought, well, if I use this, I used it on, I made a couple of, and I don't know whether I did them on camera or not. I might have. I made some of the Canadian flag, not Canadian flag, a maple leaf tea light using resin, and I made it for somebody. And I believe I used this just so that I could get it spread out. Now, I don't know whether I want to sit it there or not. I think what I'm going to have to do is lift it up after a bit. So the other thing I wanted to do was just to get so that I don't have to wipe up my mat. Here is just to get these set over here. So let's just start pouring, and we'll see where we end up. Yeah, it's going to take a moment, right? Because of the lip. Now, I think the next video I do, it's going to be using ceramic resin. I did a search using, not a search, I have been using Copilot AI to do some other work. And I decided I was going to ask it a question about ceramic resin and figuring out how much would be needed for project that I want to try and see if what it's come up with is going to work. As far as, you know, getting more definitive with the calculating of how much we need for a piece. And so I am going to, I think the next video, we're going to test out what it's given me for the formula, because I seriously would just love to know how much is needed. Now, I did ask it a question about the resin versus water volume, and it had indicated to me, and I'm hoping this is right because of how much of the resin I've made, but it basically said that the ratio, like 150 mils of water is the same as 150 mils of resin. And we're going to find that out. I've made about 160 mils of this resin for this piece. I had measured it, and it was around 150 mils that it would take. So I thought, well, we'll do an extra 10 and we'll just see. Because I've always thought that the density of water would make a difference to the density of resin. And it said no, that 150 is 150. So we're going to find out. I had gone back to my book and I had it written down, but the amount of resin I had for my soap dish was, oh, you know what soap dish I'm thinking? Ah, now I know. Okay, so I have soap dish in my book and it was 310 mil, and I'm going, there's no way that this takes 310 mil. Well, now I'm realizing that the soap dish I was thinking about was the other one I have that I had done the Halloween piece in, so I'm going to have to make note of that. But anyway, it had said that volume-wise, resin and water, there's no difference. So we're going to see just how close it is. And then we're gonna see what we can do with the ceramic resin as far as the formula goes. I keep picking that up because I don't want marks like air pockets, air bubbles in it. So that's why I'm doing this the way I am. Like lifting it up just so we don't have that. I did that on a ceramic resin piece and I ended up having some air holes, air bubbles, call them whatever you want. I think this is going to make a really cool piece. Just because of the coloring in it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we keep the design right. We're not always guaranteed of that. I get it. But hopefully something is something, eh? Now, some of those, the glitter in the beige is starting to rise, which is fine. So hopefully we'll get to see it, and I guess it's going to make it interesting. And what we put in the pink is definitely staying sort of, what do I want? Suspended. Definitely saying suspended. And I think we're just going to have enough of this. Now what I maybe need to do is take this right out. At least lift it up. Now I may be slightly not enough in this. Okay, I think I'm going to take this out. Let me just get this set outside here. Get that cleaned up. Yeah, I'm wondering if I'm just going to be slightly shy. And it was kind of interesting. Like I said, I was kind of curious about the whole how much resin. So it'll be interesting to see if we've got enough to fill this up. I think I might need one of my silicone. Stir sticks. I know it's not a stir stick, but you know what I mean. So I can get right to the bottom of this. that there. Get my hands out of the way. Now, I guess too, we also have to take into consideration when we, we're mixing up resin and then we're splitting it out and whatnot, that, sometimes moving it into different cups and whatnot, you can lose some of the volume that way. But I think I'm going to continue to sort of err on the side of a little bit more. Because I'd rather have a little too much and have to just, either get another mold out or put it into something else than not having enough. Yeah, I feel like we should have a little bit more. But I'm not gonna make up anymore. Just see how this turns out. Okay. Pretty much all of the pink out of there. Let's see if we can get a little bit more out of the beige. Get out of these. So we're not quite as full as I would like it to be. I would like to have a little bit more in that. I'm sure it'll work fine for what it's meant to be. Although the first one I made, which was an oval one, I haven't used it for what it's supposed to be used for, but that's okay. So yeah, we're a little low here, and I always like to get it up sort of right flush with the top of the mold. Now, having said that, maybe I won't get the extra on the bottom that we would have to clean up from, yeah. So it might not be such a bad thing. Now, I need to get working on cleaning my tool here that I was using to get the design, which is, pretty much disappeared now. So I want to get cleaning that so I don't ruin it. We will put it on the heating mat, and then we'll come back in we should be able to take this out in about 2 hours, and we'll see how it looks. I think I'm just going to leave it. I know I'm one of these people that, says they're going to leave it and then they, start playing around with it. But I'm sort of liking the design on the bottom here. So I'm going to leave this alone. We'll see how it comes together, because we know it's going to, because it usually does. But yeah, we'll put it on the heat mat. We'll let it warm up, and we'll see just how much of an edge we have on the bottom of it. Maybe doing this way and, not making like 170 or 180, will we be better because we didn't do that? Anyway, I am going to clean up my mess here, and then we will be done. We'll be back when this is ready to take out of the mold. Well, this should be ready to come out of the mold now. It's been cooling down for about a half an hour or so, and I'm excited to see whether we've got any kind of interesting pattern on this or not. And I almost would think about maybe not doing so much of the beige next time. I think I did more of the beige than I did the pink when it came to the resin itself. But let's see how it turned out and to see how much of a lip we have. And I'm going to be curious about that, because I'm thinking I maybe need a bit more resin in it, but at the same time, how much of a lip have we got? So let's just get this out of here. There we go. All right. So there we have it. I'm looking at it. Again, this is one of those pieces I find that I need to sit and stare at it for a while to decide whether or not I like it. And maybe it's because it doesn't have enough of a pattern in it, and that's sort of what's making me, you know, not so sure. Now we can see the glitter. I think more the pink coming through than the other glitter I had. But I don't know how well you're going to see it and whether I'm catching it in the light or not for you. I don't mind the colors together. Again, I think it would have been nice if I had a little bit less of the beige and more of the pink. But you know what? This gives me a real 70s vibe to it. Dating myself, of course. And yeah, like as I sit here and stare at it and don't let you really have a look at it. But not bad. It's not bad. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of when I was growing up, the bathroom. So there was a girls' bathroom and the boys' bathroom. And the girls' bathroom, I'm pretty sure, was it my parents' bathroom that had pink tiles. Maybe it was mom and dad's bathroom. Anyway, yeah. So there we have it. So at the back, now it doesn't have a, like, you can feel the lip being there. So I'm trying to debate, would I just, you know, clear that down? Or, again, knowing me like you do by now, if you've watched enough of my videos, you know that I just need to keep playing. So do I put something in here and then cover it with, you know, a layer of resin or something like that, just to add something to it? I'm not sure, so I'll have to think about that. I think it's an interesting color combination. I'd love you to comment below whether or not you think this would be a color combination you would use or not. I'm debating about this lip here and whether or not to do anything as far as sanding it down or putting something in there. But you know what? This will catch somebody's attention. It may not be calling me right now, but I can see it calling somebody's attention to it just because it's a unique color combination, and I'm all about trying out different and unique color combinations. So drop a comment in the link below. Let me know what you think about this color combination, if it's something you would do. I think the pink's very pretty. I think you could do a lot with it, and I'm sure with the right piece, the beige would be really cool as well. So I'll have to think about that a little bit more and see if I can't come up with something interesting to use in that. But it definitely giving me a 70s vibe, like no doubt about that whatsoever. We got a bit of a pattern in there. Not a huge pattern, but you know, and I think that's another reason why it's giving me a 70s vibe, is because there's no definitive pattern in it. Yeah, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting. I try and make things different. And we are going to give a go, I think, in the next video to determine whether or not the formula I have for the ceramic resin is going to work or not. I will find probably one of my molds that I do mostly for mixed to mold, and that's all I've got now. I've just got mixed to mold. And see what we can come up with. Like, is the formula that I have going to work? So this I would have added, like, to be honest with you, I think if we'd had another 10 mils in that, so 170, probably would have been a bit better and probably would have been just enough. So I think I'm going to put that in my book as far as how much resin I would like to have for this. Anyway, thank you for coming along. Thank you for watching it. Again, leave your comments below if you have any. And I will see you in the next video. Take care and bye for now.